Hello students! This week your topic is suicide, chapter 7 of your textbook. And you have a paper that is due this week by the end of the day, Thursday, on the contagion of suicide. The contagion of suicide is how the idea of suicide and actual suicidal behavior can spread from one person to another. So, for example, if there is publicity about a celebrity committing suicide, so recently Robin Williams committed suicide, the idea of contagion would be that people who see those news reports, people that are fans of Robin Williams, people that hear more details about the suicide, would start to think about suicide as an option for them if they're experiencing severe depression or if they're experiencing similar things as he did. So it's this idea that suicide can spread, much like a cold or a flu. So a very interesting idea, and I'd like you to think about what factors can influence the contagion of suicide. So how does the media play a role in the spread of suicidal behavior? How does community play a role in the spread of suicidal behavior? I have posted several sources in the assignment for you to use as a component of your paper, and you are required to cite both of the research papers that I've supplied for you guys, the Chen et al. And the Eason et al. 2014 papers. The Chen et al. Defines suicide as a contagion, and the Eason et al. Paper describes how the media can influence the contagion of suicide. So this paper is a way for you to demonstrate your ability to read research articles, psychological research articles, and to be able to interpret them in your own writing. So I want to encourage you to come up with your own interpretations of what the paper says. I want to discourage you from directly quoting from any of the sources I provided, and really paraphrase and come up with your own ideas. That will definitely earn you the most credit. There's also a movie that I posted that really hits home with this topic. It's about a community that has experienced a great number of suicides in the young adult community. And you really get to see the personal stories involved in that. So you get to see how this really does happen in a widespread area. And I want you to contemplate what factors in that community might be playing a role in why suicide is spreading so dominantly in their young adults in that population. Some things to consider that are really important when I'm going to be grading these papers is citing your sources correctly. Now, I've given examples for how to cite your sources correctly in both the syllabus and the assignment. So if you are citing the research article, every time you do it, I want you to say Cheng et al. 2014 in parentheses after your sentence where you're discussing that aspect of the paper. Make sure that you're always, when you're summarizing something or you're stating a result from the paper, that you have a parentheses with the paper that you got that information from. So always cite your sources. If you're citing the textbook, so chapter 7 of your text goes over suicide, so you can pull examples from that. They talk about suicide as a contagion in your textbook. So if you're pulling ideas from that, again, cite your textbook, give me the page number, and do that consistently. I always say Comer/page, whatever the information, wherever that page is. So, and then if you're citing a news article, I want you to give me the author of the article and what the news publication is. So, and I've given examples for all of these at the very end of the assignment. So, for example, if you're going to cite the USA Today article written by Guerra, you say parentheses, so after your statement, you say parentheses, USA Today, comma, the author's last name, Guerra, comma, the year of the publication. The reason why you always are required to give citations when you're writing papers is so people can look up where you got that info. You're not just making it up, you got it from somewhere. And it's really important to demonstrate that you're not just pulling facts out of the air, that you actually have done research, you have actually done your reading, and you can support your statements with other people's reports. And this is a critical skill for you guys to learn how to do, learn how to break down research articles, learn how to break down media, and synthesize the information together and put it in your own words. That's a critical skill that you're going to need, especially if you're moving on to university. Something that you're going to have to do a lot of. As far as the paper's structure or format and the length, I'm looking for 3 components of this paper. I want you to have an introduction where you're introducing, defining the topic, defining the problem, and you're really just setting me up for what are we going to be talking about in your paper. So that's the first section, is your introduction. The second section is going to be your examination of the topic. This is where you're going to be reading your research articles, reading the news articles, watching the movie, and putting it all together in this examination of what is suicide as a contagion. How predominant is this in our culture? What are the factors that can influence suicide as a contagion? So this is where you're really going to be examining the topic and bringing everything together. And then the third component of your paper is your conclusion. This is where you wrap things up. You go from a very specific statement to a very general statement to leave me with a sense of finality of your viewpoint on this topic based off of everything you've read. What is the take-home message that you want me to get out of your examination of this topic? The paper should be between 2 and 3 pages. I'm looking for at least 800 words. So this is supposed to be a bigger examination than you've done for your discussion topics. You guys write a great deal for your discussion topics, and I feel like your writing has improved as we've gone along week to week. I'm really seeing a progression in your ability to be critical and be insightful about all the topics. And this is your chance to dig even deeper into a single topic on your own and really get at all the facets of it, all the details, and use your own personal point of view to have a voice, to have a creative voice in this writing process. So this paper is worth 75 points. So it's worth more than your discussion assignments or your quizzes, and it has a healthy proportion of your grade. So definitely take your time, do several drafts. When you're editing your papers, I encourage you to read your papers aloud to yourself. Now, they may feel silly and you may not want to do that around roommates or family members, but when you have time to yourself, I really believe that the best way to edit writing is to read it aloud. You will find so many more mistakes, so many more problems with your writing when you're reading it aloud and you're catching like, oh, that doesn't flow right. Oh, we should have a comma here. Oh, this doesn't have a citation. You'll catch all of those things much more easily when reading aloud. And I guarantee your grades will be much better if you use that method. If you have any questions about this assignment, please post in this announcement here, right below, and then everyone will be able to see your question and my response, because I guarantee if you have that question, someone else in the class has that question as well. So please engage with the topic here so we can have feedback with one another, and I look forward to reading your papers this week.